So it's because of the Uka slander that I kept seeing on TikTok that I'm here today to talk about Honey Lemon Soda. Originally, I did not have an interest in watching it because on the Annie charts, as some of you guys know, it's the website you go to see what anime are playing for the season, right? When I looked at the title for Honey Lemon Soda, because I was in the mood for romance, I saw that the rating was low. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna watch that one. Generally speaking, the ratings on Annie chart, in my opinion, are pretty accurate. People put comments about how they feel about the series. I feel like Annie chart ratings have an accurate representation about the impact the show is having on like the anime community for the season, at least overseas. I don't know how it is in Japan, but yeah, the rating was low and I was like, you know what, I'm probably not going to watch this. But then I was in a live on TikTok a couple weeks ago and one of my mutuals that I like very much, she was just like, hey, have you watched Honey Lemon Soda? I want to know what you think about it. So I was like, I have time to watch it. When it's a weekly airing and it's only one episode, you can keep up with it. So there's not as much of an excuse. It's not like you're having to sit down and binge like 24 episodes of something that's already been shown. I was like, okay, final two straws that actually made me decide to watch Honey Lemon Soda was the Uka slander, because a lot of people were complaining about her character. Nowadays, a lot of people prefer the strong archetype of woman. They don't want the crybaby. They don't want the girl that has the low self-esteem that is always endlessly confessing her love to the guy. They want somebody strong. They want somebody that they can live vicariously through. And Uka is very much not that character, but she's working on it. The concept of not liking female leads because you feel like they're like one big gigantic wuss, I don't really like that. Seeing how people were reacting towards Uka's character, it did inspire me to try the show out myself so I could come across my own opinion. Because yes, you do have characters that can be a bit much at times. When you're watching, it just makes you want to cut the show off because it is physically painful to watch them do anything. There are characters like that, but I don't know, I just didn't get the vibe that she was that bad. So this is what this is going to be. This is going to be a video about my first impressions of Honey Lemon Soda, only reviewing episodes 1 through 3. I'm gonna talk about Uka, I'm gonna talk about Kai, and I'm gonna talk about some of the side characters. So let's get started. Now, I gotta admit, I was annoyed when this boy sprayed soda on Uka by accident and she said she was lucky that it happened to her. I was like, girl, if you don't get your masochistic self up, ain't no crush that serious to be accepting a half-a apology like the one Kai gave her. Obviously, as the episodes went on, I understood a little bit more why Uka reacted the way that she did. The archetype of Uka's character was recognizable from episode 1, and although I do think this archetype of female lead can be frustrating for many viewers, what I really like about Uka is from the beginning of the anime, she's very intentional about trying to improve and change her life. In episode 1, there's a scene where she runs out into the hall after encountering her bullies from her previous school. And the moment she starts to talk down on herself, she stops herself. These type of moments make me like Uka's character. Like every single episode, she is making progress and battling against her negative self-talk as best as she can. Some characters, it takes them like 10 episodes to do this. But every episode, Uka's like, no, that was the old me. We're gonna do things differently. Does she fail sometimes? Yes. But most of the time, Uka actually does very well and reveals herself to be a very capable person. That's another thing I like about this anime so far. We're not bombarded by failed attempts after failed attempt. and endless bad luck against Uka for her trying to get better. Everything feels very balanced and evenly paced as far as how much progress she's making versus the moments where she falters. One particular scene I liked was when Uka and Endo switched seats. Uka suggested they trade so Endo could be next to the guy she likes, and at first Endo was like, no, that's fine, let's not trade seats. But Uka kept insisting if Uka's confidence wasn't getting better, she wouldn't have been able to persist and continue asking Endo after Endo already shot the idea down. If we had had a whole episode devoted to Uka trying to get Endo to change her mind about changing seats because she was too nervous to insist, I don't know what I would have done. And if you're used to that general archetype of character, you know what I mean. They're super hesitant and insecure and prolong even the most basic tasks by overthinking. Uka does not make me feel that way about her character. At least, not yet. It just seems like the things she chooses to ponder on don't drive me mad. They all make sense for the situation. The only thing that's kind of annoying at times is the crying, and I sometimes wonder if it's considered attractive. It's not normal for Japanese people to show very strong emotions publicly, so when there is a strong emotion shown, I wonder if this is meant to make the character seem more pure and attractive to their male counterpart. I also say this because when she and Kai first met, he looked back at her when she was crying, and it just seemed like her crying left an impression on him. I really genuinely think the type of female lead that cries all the time is seen as desirable in shoujo. But for me personally, the crying can feel like overkill at times. On one hand, there's a lot of anime that have characters that be crying all the time, so much that I'm used to it. But still, sometimes I do be looking at my screen like, Uka, why are you crying? I've accepted it's a part of her character, but it's probably my least favorite thing about her character. While she is simply crying when she is feeling heavy emotions, I just think the timing can be odd for me as a viewer. It's not something that'll make me stop watching the show, and I don't hate her for it. Now let's talk more about her crush on Kai. I think this is a perfectly valid way to develop a crush on someone. You're getting bullied on the street, and some hot blonde guy with piercings validates the choice that you were going to make anyways, tells you he'll be at the same school too, and like walks off coolly. And one thing I was so happy to find out was that Uka did not simply have an interest in that particular high school because of Kai. I was worried there for a sec, like, please tell me you did not give up a good high performing school to follow a boy. But when Uka was so eloquently explaining her reasoning for choosing that school, I was like, yes, you go, girl. No more hardcore studying. You live your best high school life with school festivals and fun moments. Kai just happens to be an addition to the school experience she wanted for herself anyways, and kudos to that. I can get behind that. Watching her have her little moments with Kai is super cute. I think it was episode 3, he put his hand around her back and she started freaking out. I have some things to say about Kai in the next video as far as his personality goes, but much of what Uka is going through I find cute simply for the fact that I can remember having crushes in grade school and how every little tiny interaction I had with the guys I liked meant so much to me. Those types of small things and small encounters with somebody you like, especially your first crush, like, it makes sense. Watching Uka navigate her first crush, in my opinion, is very endearing. I just wish she would take it easy on the whole love thing. Episode 2, when she said, I love him, I was like, girl, we only on episode 2. I support you, but please don't test my patience. You have a crush. This is your first time experiencing male validation that, from what I've seen, is mutual. So enjoy it. Take it one day at a time. No need to be slinging the L word around. I get it. Having a crush makes your mind a mess, not to mention sitting right next to your crush in class, but let's not say you love him. Please. I know I'm not the target demographic, but please. That's all I have to say really about Uka until my next review. I like the message of the show. Yeah, you do have to decide to make change on your own, but everybody needs help because confidence does not exist in a vacuum. Uka does well when she's able to push herself and when others are able to push her. And it's nice when you have people around you to reveal to you that, hey, you're actually a very capable person. You just need to trust in yourself more. My first impression of Kai was not a gracious one. He just didn't seem sorry enough for my liking. but within these 3 episodes, I feel like I'm beginning to like him a bit more. I think Kai is more shy and clueless than he lets on, specifically in regards to having a crush on Uka. Not to say he is lacking in experience with girls, I haven't gotten far enough in the show to know that yet, but when I watch Kai's behavior, it feels like he's putting on the image of someone who is very capable and cool. Throughout the episodes, I very easily started to see him not as this guy that has this social rank above Uka, but as a character capable of making mistakes and behaving oddly too when dealing with unknown territory for him. Within liking Uka, there's a lot of observing of her, thinking about what's best for her, and also trying to save face in front of friends and peers while processing the new feelings. Very much grade school-like behavior. I began to think that maybe Kai was also processing his emotions towards Uka too when he snapped at her when she was talking about her dream. It seemed to come out of nowhere, and it reminded me that, hey, at the end of the day, Kai is just a boy with a crush. Even if he did spin it as, you should have bigger dreams, I think he's still processing how he feels about her. I have to constantly combat my annoyance with guys in anime doing like tiny things and being seen as the best thing since sliced bread, but there were 2 things I've seen Kai do that did earn him some brownie points. The first was when Uka wore her gym uniform. He knew she was going to have anxiety about sticking out during roll call, so he wore his own gym uniform as well. And I thought that showed some thoughtfulness on his end. And the second, perhaps most impressive moments of the 3 episodes that I watched was when he said, I started this and I'll reap what I sow. Many people will have different interpretations of what Kai meant when he said this, but I'll let you know what I think he meant. After seeing Uka's dad, I think Kai realized just how protected she actually is, and that he himself is now building a safety net for her. And of course, as a result, Uka sees him as her savior. When he was saying, I started this and I'll reap what I sow, he's basically saying, you have relied on the safety of your family all this time, and now you have unconsciously passed that torch to me. I'll take care of you in the areas your family isn't able to, which in my opinion, that's a confession. He didn't say he likes her, but he might as well have. And I was dumbstruck because the words were pretty intense for his character 3 episodes in. This is my interpretation of what Kai said. I'll just have to wait until I watch more episodes to enforce the idea or to change it. One of my favorite things about romance is watching the guys fall for the girl in their own little small scenes. Like there was a scene where Uka started laughing and Kai looked at her, and it was just so satisfying because I understand how it feels to unlock new expressions from a person you like, especially if it's a person you're trying to help. I know this because I myself am a nurturer. So I hope we can see more of Kai's perspective soon. I also hope they go into why he's always tired. Like, are we gonna get a low iron story? What's going on, buddy? Is your home life a wreck? What is really happening? Because you always sleeping. And another question that I guess is kind of related to him, but not pertaining to him. How do you have the balls to break into a high school, but not have the balls to stand up to one kid with a desk? I don't know, this scenario was kind of cheesy, but I did get a good laugh when Kai picked up the desk. He was like, forget fists, we using furniture. Honestly, I'd say my opinion of Kai is good right now. I just gotta see more from him as the episodes continue. So that's where we are with him right now. I wanted to give some extra notes on the side characters. My favorite character so far is Ayumi Endo. I always like characters with this personality type, but what really sealed the deal for me was episode 3 when Uka asked to be friends and Endo was like, oh, so you're the type where I need to say things out loud, otherwise you won't understand. This singular line made Endo my favorite character in the show because being direct would solve most, if not all, of the problems going on in the show, especially with characters like Uka. But, you know, then where would the show be? You can't have any of that. You can't have clear communication. That's like a romance anime sin. Same with manga. it's a sin. So yeah, Endo is my favorite character. I'm rooting for her and the guy she likes simply because I believe the girlies should always get who they want. I cannot wait to see what's up between the two of them. Like, I hope they kind of have a thing because I know she really likes him. It'd be super cute to find out he likes her back. Next character I want to talk about is Takamine. I think that's his name. He seems to be the big brother type, and oftentimes like the older brother, older sister, caretaker type character is my favorite in the show. But I don't know, for some reason Takamine feels suspicious to me. I don't like the way he looks at Uka. It could also just be me. Another very possible reason I find him sus could be his voice actor. He might have played a character that was bad in another anime, and my brain is just responding negatively to hearing the voice actor, but still, I got my eye on him. That's pretty much all I have to say about Uka's character, Kai's character, some of the side characters. I will probably be doing my next review after I watch up until episode 6, because sometimes so much stuff happens in one episode that you're like, hey, I cannot condense this down. Like, I gotta talk about this right now. Right now. But I feel like I'll be back to talk about maybe episode 4 through 6. So we'll have to see. I'm trying to put more anime reviews on YouTube more frequently, even though I've watched so much, even though I've been watching it for like most of me being alive. I'm really bad at retaining the things that happen in anime. So this is like my own personal journal for me to go back and watch for when I forget stuff. It's starting with, I think it started with Mob Psycho actually. I did a video about Mob Psycho. I don't know if I'm going to continue. I feel like that's something I want to watch and not review because it's just so dear to me. So I don't think I'm gonna continue my Mob Psycho review, or maybe I will. I don't know. I'm really close to that series. Like, it feels very dear to my heart. I don't know if I want to like watch it through a reviewing lens, but anyways, I should be back episode 4 through 6. So far, I'm enjoying the show. Like, I could see why it has the rating it has on AniChart, because I do think a lot of people would not be able to sit through Uka's character, even though I don't see a problem with her, right? Maybe as the episodes continue and the series finishes, maybe the rating will go higher. I'm only judging everything on 3 episodes. So if it goes downhill, I guess we'll talk about it. Peace out, guys.